Welcome to Are We Where Yet with Jonny Awesome and Tori Black.
All right, hello. Welcome to Are We Where Yet? I am your host, Jonny. We have Tori on the other side of the microphone.
Hello.
And we're going to take this first episode just to kind of give a brief background on how we met and how this podcast came to be. So we're going to say a little bit about each other, about how I came up and how she came up. And both of us, interesting enough, it's been through music. We're both through music, and I think that's originally how we met.
That's what's awesome.
Yeah, and I think I had heard that somebody from Yuma was going to be on TV. I think that was the very first time I heard about you, was that somebody from Yuma was going to be on LA TV. And it was your first band. Was that your first band?
Yeah, it was Pride Before the Fall. And actually, I heard about you way before LA TV.
Okay.
I definitely did. You were going around, promoter, Jonny Awesome, Jonny. I'm like, who is Jonny Awesome?
Yeah, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Well, a little bit of background on that. I was a promoter. I put on shows at a place called Open Aired, and that was, I don't know how long ago. It was years ago. We did shows at a little tiny abandoned place in Winter Haven, California. It used to be a Chinese restaurant, believe it or not.
I had no idea.
No, have you never been there?
Well, no, I was there, but I had no idea it was a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, it was Jean's. If you know Jean's, have you ever heard of Jean's restaurant? They moved to Yuma, and they were on 4th Avenue.
Are they still around?
No. I think it's like the Living Center now.
Okay.
If you know where the Living Center's at.
Yeah.
But
I remember now.
Yeah, that was Jean's restaurant, but Jean's originally started in Winter Haven, in a little tiny place. Yeah. And the guy, he still owns the building. He's an Asian man that still owns the building, and he leases it out to my mentor, and my mentor fixes it up and gets like super cheap rate on the building. So
that's pretty cool. And then he's the artist, right?
Yeah, he's the artist. Yeah, so that's how that started. He was so I was doing music. I was a rapper. You were a vocalist.
Right.
Multi-talented though. Like you did a bunch.
Yeah, I would sit down, write the songs, play all the instruments, but then when I got the band together, it's a whole different world.
So you were doing the writing before that?
Yeah, I came from Cali, moved over to Yuma because I was doing really bad over there. And it was MySpace actually. MySpace got me in touch with a lot of the bandmates, and then we got together, and it just went from there.
Really? So MySpace, that's what
MySpace days.
MySpace was great, and I had a meltdown. No joke, with my mentor when MySpace went down, because that's how I did all my promoting. It was the scariest thing for me. It was so, I remember I went to my mentor, and he mocks me to this day about the meltdown I had when everybody started going to Facebook, because Facebook was different. I didn't understand it. I
didn't like Facebook.
I didn't like Facebook either. Mm-mm. I had people that were from LA, and they were telling me, you got to get on Facebook. And I was like, I refuse to get on Facebook. MySpace works so well. Like I got this thing down on lock, and this is how I promote my shows. I got the algorithm down, and then sure enough, MySpace is dead.
I thought that was crazy. How it just like from one day to another, it felt like one day to another. Like it was just like Facebook.
That's it, and everybody was on Facebook, and then I had to learn that, and it took me a while, but obviously I learned it and started the company, Media Management, that you ended up working for. But
yeah.
Let's go back to LA TV. So you were in a band, Pride Before the Fall, and how did you get that gig?
I remember just being on a website. It popped up or something. I can't remember specifically, but it popped up somewhere, and they were like looking for bands for Battle of the Bands. And I remember telling Steven, which was the dude I originally hooked up with for the band, and he was like, let's do it. And then we just started doing flyers, and we started to go around and promote it. And then I don't know how we ended up, but we ended up on the list to be on TV.
I was doing shows, and I knew a lot of the bands here in Yuma. But then I remember hearing about you're going to be on TV. And when I saw it, I was like, I've never heard a band this good in Yuma. After all the shows I put on, you guys sounded so polished. How'd that come to be?
That was a little, that has a story of its own.
Oh, okay. Do you not want to tell? Is that like some movie magic or what?
So
like
when we first started, Steph was the original drummer, but we had such a shitty drum set, like the shittiest drum set, like $100 drum set. Mm-hmm. We went to the studio. I think his name was Brian. God, what was his Grider? No. Yeah, Grider. And we popped in there and he's like, wow, this is a really shitty drum set. And we're just like, yeah, we know. He was like, it's all right. I got a solution for that. And he used this plug-in and he just put, like, he literally made that $100 piece of shit drum set sound like $1 million, like a DW drum set. And we're like, what the heck? But I mean, the song was great, but the drums were like really lacking it. So I mean, if anything, I gotta give him the props for that. That producer really did a great job with the demo.
But she still played the drums, but there was just like the extra layer on top of hers.
Yeah,
that's the plug-in. But that's the world we live in. You know, we live in a place where, you know, if you can't sing, you auto-tune it, and you know, and it's just, it's part of the
great drummer, shitty drum set, but
yeah,
awesome
great
plug-in.
drummer. See, but then it just brought her great drumming to life, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's funny, I sent you a text a while back with the screenshot of me wanting to do a song with your next project, which was Tori Black.
How long ago was that?
That was 2011.
I saw it and I was like, oh my God.
2011. I was like, one day I will do a song with Tori Black, and which is your new project, what you're working on now, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh God, has it been that long? Because you've been asking me, and I was like, oh, I felt so bad. I was like, oh shit, I really gotta collab with John.
It's 2018, girl. 2018. We still haven't done a song together.
Yeah, let's put that out. Let's put that on.
That's in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, I was a rapper, and
how did you get started with that?
So I was a rapper, and the best outlet I had was just going up to people that I thought looked like rappers and said, hey, do you rap? You know, like, and not to be racist, but
I was going to say that. It's a little racist.
But typically,
hey, dude,
it'd be
you look like a rapper.
Yeah, it'd be like black people, right? I'd go up to, you know, at the fair, and I was like, let's battle. You know, I was like 16 years old, 15, 16.
Oh, wow.
And I was just into this whole thing, and I knew how to battle rap. I could freestyle. That was my passion. Well, that was my only outlet, and I did that for years. I'd just go up to people, and then I got with my brother-in-law, Citizen Aim, rest in peace. He was a DJ. And I would go to his house, and he would put records on, and I would just rap over the records. He had a bunch of instrumentals from groups like Atmosphere and Aesop Rock and Brother Ali and a bunch of underground hip hop. That was good. Living Legends around that time, and we developed a good relationship. And he said, I'm going to try to make beats. So he got a program called Acid. I don't know if you remember Acid.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah, that was the first program he had. He got Acid. And he started to make these beats that were totally like chaotic and like no timing whatsoever, you know. And I was like, yeah, I think there's supposed to be like a time signature.
We need a metronome in here.
Yeah,
dude.
like there's something like I heard somebody talking about 4/4 sometimes, you know, like maybe we should do that. He's like, just rap to it. It's the first beat.
It's freestyle.
Yeah, just do it. And I was like, I'm gonna try. And anyway, he ended up getting a lot better and growing in that after we met a guy from Long Beach. He kind of took us under his wing. His name's Thomas. And he kind of showed us the ropes and how to do everything. Well, we got that down. We got the music down, but we still didn't have an outlet except for his bedroom. You know?
Right.
And that was it. And I knew a bunch of people in the industry, and what we needed to do was have an outlet. So what I did was go to a place called Java Oasis, which was a little coffee shop.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Memories.
Yeah, so I went there and I got all these. We had a little crew called Cerebral Arts back in the day.
Oh, I remember that too.
Yeah, Cerebral Arts was the name of the crew.
It's all coming back.
There was a bunch of us. It was a big collective. We're like the Yuma Wu-Tang Clan. It was people from all over. We got together, and we did recorded music. We had the recording down. We did all that. But I said, look, we need an outlet. We need to be able to perform. But I don't think people are just going to be like, hey, let's get these guys up and perform. We need to do something that's more inclusive, something that everybody can vibe to. And so what I started was I said, look, I told this guy, Mike Titan, Charles, I think back then he was going by Supernatural, but he's a Native American, so he would get these checks with a lot of money at certain times.
Right.
And I said, look, if you invest in the gear, I will go to Java Oasis and I will ask them to use their building. You invest in the gear, I will have this, and we'll all have an outlet. And he said, it's not going to work. Everybody's like, you're crazy. It's not going to work. They're not going to let us in. We all look like thugs and street kids. And sure enough, I went in. I said, look, I said to the owner, I said, look, if I double your business, what do we normally make on a Friday night? She said, X, Y, and Z. I usually make this. I said, if I double your business on a Friday night, can I use this building as my venue every other Friday night for something I want to do, a little project I want to do called Open Aired? And she said, if you double my business, for sure, that's a no-brainer. You can have it. I said, okay. So then went to MySpace, started promoting, Citizen AIM, did our first flyer. I mean, it was pretty terrible, like the first original beats, but he was a creative guy. So he said, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to do a flyer. And announced it. And the reason why it's called Open Aired, because I was like, air it out. It was open air, just like it's an open space.
Oh, so you came up with the name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, open air is just like air it out. Whatever you want to say. I don't care if you're, an atheist, a communist, a Muslim, a Christian. It doesn't matter. Get up there and just say your piece. And that was our tagline, is speak your piece. So it was an open mic. And the first open mic we did, it was cool. We had like teachers come in doing acoustic guitar sessions. We had this nihilistic philosopher come in and do poetry.
So it wasn't just hip hop.
No, it wasn't just hip hop.
A mixture of stuff.
It was a huge, and that's what I wanted, was a mixture. And the rule is that no matter what, you clap at the end for whoever does whatever piece. That was and we had people we had to move in all the chairs out of this little coffee shop. We did it on a Saturday night, had to move all the chairs out of the way. And people were just sitting on the floor. It was very hippie-ish, which is, I dig, you know what I mean? People had their shoes off too, the whole thing, just sipping coffee, sitting down, and, just do a little clap afterwards. Somebody would go up and do a little spoken word piece, do whatever. And then it was like, okay, now at the end, it's kind of our time. We can go up there and do a couple songs. I didn't want to make it about us, but I wanted to be able to have a time for us as well. So I ended up meeting a bunch of people. I mean, so many different artists, creative people.
That's so weird. I wonder if when we played there, if whoever, I think it was Steven who hooked up that gig, but I don't even remember if that was through you or if that was directly through Java. But I know we played there
Did
once.
You?
We played there before it closed down.
Yeah, see then.
That's what sucked.
So then what happened is that as it grew, we went from open mics to throwing actual shows. We started to do actual shows where there would be a headline band, and we got really into the screamo hardcore phase.
Right.
And so if you know anything about those guys, they like to punch people. They like to punch walls. They're very angry. They got a lot of aggression.
Oh, I know.
And so, and on Java Oasis, they had a bunch of artwork up, and so it was kind of like, it came to a point after almost, 8 months, she was kind of like, yeah, the artwork keeps falling off the wall and there's holes here and you're going to have to move on.
Right.
Yeah. And it was kind of sad, but I think somebody else took it over after I left. Like people did. It could have been Steven or whatever. There was people that like, oh, this is a great thing. And so there was other shows there after I was gone.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah. And for a while we were homeless. We were going from place to place, trying out little venues. And what happened was, to get to the place in Winter Haven, by then we created a name for ourselves and we started getting gigs in Phoenix and San Diego and stuff like that. And so we got a gig in Phoenix with this a rapper named Soul from a group called Anticon, which I absolutely loved. He's one of my favorite artists. And we went up there, and when we walked in, it was like, this is an art gallery. Like, we're performing in a legit art gallery in Phoenix.
Right.
And our music was a little bit more aggressive. It was a little bit more hardcore, I guess you would say, for hip hop.
Did you guys ever record that stuff?
Yeah, we have it. Like, me and my brother-in-law were going through it yesterday. We need to release some of this stuff. Like,
yeah, because I don't think I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear John from the past.
We were going through it, and my brother-in-law actually yesterday he said, "Hey, we should release some of this for Citizen AIM's like a reunion, not a reunion, but an anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
Release a lot of this underground, the stuff that nobody's ever heard. So we're probably going to do that. But so yeah, we get to Phoenix." And we're this group of like b-boys and taggers and this and that. And we're at an art gallery, and we're kind of like, okay.
Was it fancy?
It was really nice. It was really nice, you know? And so I talked to the guy Soul, like, I don't know if we're going to fit in here, man. Like, you know, our music is this and that. He's like, it's all good, man. Don't even worry about it. And so we do the show. Great. The people loved us. And they were like hipsters, you know, the early version of hipsters back then. And they clapped and they liked us and they liked our music. And I was like, oh, this was a great experience. So then what I did was when I came back, like I said, we were homeless. As far as venue, I went to my mentor, who's been my mentor since I was 16, on and off. Yeah. I said, hey, you know, I did a show at an art gallery in Phoenix. You have this art gallery in Winter Haven. Do you think we could work something out that we could perform there? And I could use this as a venue. And we ended up working it out. Details. And the details was like I had to stay there until the show was over and clean up. And,
right.
You know, I was responsible. I would leave there at 2 a.m. and then go to work at 5 a.m. You know, it was like, it was pretty brutal, but I was doing what I loved to do.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing a lot of shows there, and that's how we moved to Winter Haven. And actually, we were written about like in a European magazine as one of the best places to stop on tour.
Nice.
Yeah, because so what I developed in, it was at Java Oasis. I knew I had to double the money. So I was the MC. So I would say, hey, make sure you go buy a drink, get a drink, support this business, go get it. And so people would do that. They would listen and they would go support. Right. And sure enough, at the end the till, I looked at it and they doubled the business.
Right.
So I do the same thing for the artists. Anytime an artist come in, make sure you buy the merch, get the T-shirts, get the CDs, get their stickers, whatever you have on their merch table, whatever you see there, go buy it.
Right.
And so Yuma didn't have anything like this, so these kids were eating it up.
Yeah.
And so all these artists would come through, and there was like, man, I sold out all my merch in Yuma before I got to San Diego.
Oh,
so,
that sucks.
Well,
it's good, but
it's good,
sucks.
yeah. But so then what they did was, it's like, so they started telling their friends, so make sure you bring more merch, and you want to stop in Yuma. So it started to spread, and people were left and right calling me, come to Yuma. And one of my big stories on that was Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore. You telling me about
Macklemore wanted to come to Yuma, and I got a little demo, and it was no joke. It was a CD, and it had his name written on it with a Sharpie, you know. And it's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I said that. Look at me, Rigo. Do you know who Macklemore is, Rigo? We got Rigo over here. He's an audio engineer. I said that, no joke.
You're a dick.
I know, right?
Just kidding.
I turned down Macklemore. And then later on, like, he's blowing up, he's everywhere. Right. And I was like, I still have the CD, the little demo CD.
You do?
Yeah, I still have that little demo CD.
Are you going to sell it on eBay?
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I should. You know, I ended up, Ryan Lewis is somebody that Macklemore did stuff with. I got him down. He came through Yuma, and he played a place called Shots. It was a little club. But Macklemore never came down, so it was kind of like, I can't believe that I passed on Macklemore, but anyway.
Maybe it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I guess not. So that's a cool story, though, for a podcast, right? That's
definitely.
Yeah. It's like
Macklemore and Yuma?
Yeah, it could have been, and then never had.
And then it didn't happen because of John.
Yeah, because of me. But anyway, so that's how we got to On, and I ended up doing open air up until my brother-in-law, citizen named CJ Walk. He had cystic fibrosis. He got really sick, and he couldn't do it anymore, and it just started to become a problem and a burden more than it was anything else. And by that time, Jeff, I don't know if you know Jeff, but Jeff Yuma, he started doing shows. So
metal hardcore.
Yeah, he kind of took it over and then took it to other places, but we had to retire that. So.
Yeah. I met him. I got closer to him when I opened my own music venue.
Yeah, so you had a music venue. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yours was on 4th Avenue and like 1st or something.
Yeah. I don't even know what that plaza is called. I just remember having an idea because we kept playing at parks. I was tired of it. I was like, no, we need a better place to play. And then I personally didn't want to play at bars all the time, you know, because I was underage at the time and I just didn't like the feeling. I think we played at Fat Harvey's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't do this no more.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I don't like the bar at that time. I didn't like because I was underage and I couldn't obviously you can't drink.
Yeah, like,
everyone's on you, and they're like, you need wristbands, and you got to like split it in half, and underage goes on one side, da da da. So just one day, just me and Steph were like, let's just open a music venue. And I had no fucking money. I had no money whatsoever, but I just had this idea, and I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's ask people. Let's see if we can get some money to come through for this. And I remember Steph, she's a kind person. She went in and she got a title loan for, I think, her car or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we bought speakers with that and the mixer, and then we had a couple people like loan us stuff and let us borrow things. And then finally I got through with one of my brothers on my dad's side. And I asked him, hey, I just need some money up front for, to start this music venue. And he was totally for it. And he's like, all right, I'll send you the money. And that's how we did Modern Cultures. And then we ended up opening it. It only stayed open for 6 months because it was a pain in the butt. And I know you probably know about this. It's freaking hard. It's hard. Promoting shows, it's very hard. And especially during the summer when all those kids go back to school right at that time. Because that was kind of like our niche in our market. So a lot of them were going back to school, so they didn't want to come out anymore. And so by like the 6th month, we were like, we're done.
So that's how long it was open, about 6 months?
About 6 months. But that's how I met Jeff Yuma, because he would come through, he'd do his metal shows. He was always like, really cool dude, though. Did what you did. I told him, hey, pick up your shit after you're done. I remember he brought in some band. Guy was like, probably on some heroin or something. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. And he came through and he tagged up the walls in this plaza, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get freaking kicked out. And I think it was barely like the very beginning stages of Modern Cultures. It was crazy. But Jeff was nice enough to paint over it, and he took care of it or whatever.
That's good. He was a good guy. I love Jeff.
Good guy. I really liked working with him. But then I had the punkers, and I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but that was so hard to deal with.
The punks.
Yeah, no, I gave them a place, to come play their shows, and let's just say they weren't nice. They were not nice.
No, yeah.
They were a little more...
They tend to rebel against everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Even like the good things that they get in their life. They're like, oh, we rebel against this, even though it's great,
Yeah, and I'm like, you fucking assholes. Like, I give you a place to play, and here you are, like, being dicks.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was real bad. But other than that, it was a good 6 months. I learned a lot. It was my first business, real business.
That's great. I went to a couple shows there. I don't remember who played, but I did go to a couple shows there.
I did have some hip-hop shows.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I just booked them. I was like, sure, let's do it.
Did you have Minus there? You remember a guy named Minus? Or maybe it was that?
Probably.
I think you did. I think you had a guy named Minus there. At some point. And I think I saw him there for the first time. He was from Somerton, and I don't know how it got hooked up. He ended up going to L.A., got pretty kind of hooked up with the underground hip-hop, and then moved out.
Yeah.
But, talking about the punk rockers. So we had
continuing on
on the punk rock thing. So for a little while we had a recording studio, like a full-fledged recording studio with a drum room and like a guitar room, and like it was huge for Yuma. And we had a punk rock band in, and we had the most problems with the punk rock band.
Yeah.
The drummer was on heroin at the time, and he kept falling over out of his seat. And he was drooling the whole time. He was literally drooling. He could still keep beat.
Yeah, they have that. They drool.
He was drooling, and then he would fall over, and they would have to go pick him back up. And it's like, dude, get back up. Like you came here to drum. You booked this time. And he'd get back up for a little while and then start playing for a little, and then fall over. And it's just like, oh, this is going to be forever.
Yeah.
So...
that's how we knew he was on heroin. He was drooling.
Yeah.
He was like falling everywhere. You can just tell.
Yeah, it was
bad.
Horrible. Well, I guess that's good enough. That's an introduction. A little bit.
Yeah.
And later, you got into graphic design.
Right. Yep.
Right. And
while you
were doing it, you were doing graphic design.
Yeah, I think I'm where I'm at with marketing and graphic design and even fitness. I'm where I'm at because of music.
Me too.
Honestly. That was the connection to everything. It's weird how it all interconnected and became what it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's...
No,
Can you relate to that? How music kind of like...
100%. That's the reason. That's the drive. That's why I learned these things. That's why I learned how to deal with people, how to do marketing, like what they wanted, what they didn't want, stuff like that. So that kind of birthed, like, maybe I could do this for a living, and then that's what I ended up doing. I remember I was working at Lowe's, at the time, and I was like, you know what, I'm pretty good at this stuff with Facebook at that time, and I wonder if I can help businesses with it. So then I ended up helping some businesses with it, and I was like, if I could make some money, I just saw The Secret at that point. I watched
The Secret.
I watched The Secret.
That changed my life too.
Right, and so I watched The Secret, and I said, you know what, if I put these things into motion, I could start my own business. And sure enough, everything, I had a whiteboard. We had a whiteboard, me and my business partner at the time, and then we wrote down everything we wanted, all the clients we wanted in this business, and it all came to fruition, like everything on the board. It was crazy. And one of the things on the board was to hire you. And that was a fun experience.
That's how you got me.
Then because
God, I knew you did voodoo on me.
we were talking. We were talking a little bit before we started the podcast. By the time we were in our second building, I have two memories. One memory was the owner of the building shoving a little memo thing under our door saying, "Stop parking in my parking spot, you jerks." And the other memory was me on a computer begging you to meet. And you're like, no, we're just exchanged through emails.
Yeah. I was pretty bad back in the day.
So what do you mean by pretty bad? What would you say?
I had a lot of anxiety. I suffered from anxiety a lot. And then depression and, all that stuff. Yeah. And so, that's kind of what I mean by that. So
at that point, when I'm like, because I don't know if you had your website up there, but I knew you were doing work and you did excellent work, better work.
Yeah, I was freelancing at the time.
Yeah, you did better work than anybody else I knew at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got to get this girl to work with me because it's like she's producing stuff that is better than all these other people that are coming in and wanting a job. And I just remembered it was like, yeah, there's through email and that's it. You wouldn't come in, you wouldn't meet with me. It was just like, maybe it's like, okay, you can go to this place and drop it off in this location. I'll pick it up in 30 minutes. And it was like secret clandestine.
Yeah. I would like do the runaround.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess this will get into actually what the podcast is about. Now we're kind of diving a little bit deeper, but you've blossomed since then.
Yeah.
If there's any other
Definitely.
word.
Yeah. I became, actually it was kind of funny because I was writing down like my notes for this podcast and I was like, when the hell did I become spiritual? Like when did that happen? Because I think spirituality really changed the game for me in my mind.
That was the key to unlock
beauty
that was within you.
Right. And then you mentioned The Secret. And The Secret was actually the beginning of that. Because I was totally like atheist at the beginning, Catholic, and then went atheist. And then I was like, I don't know what the hell I am anymore. And then that's when I had my anxiety, my depression. And then I watched The Secret. And then from there, I went to Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. And then my anxiety got worse around that time because my dad had his first heart attack. So that gave me a lot of panic attacks and stuff like that. And so, I don't know, I just felt like spirituality just came at me.
Around that time. Really?
And I think it was like 2014, 2015, around that time. And I just started to learn all this cool knowledge and just about the universe and just, I don't know, it just sparked in me and it changed my view on just life and just in me. And
so your anxiety started to go down a little bit? And
Yeah, I started meditating. My anxiety went away completely.
Oh, so you started meditating. How long ago?
Yeah, I think it was when I started going to the center. So that was like 2015, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started meditating and integrating that. And I mean, that changed my life, I think.
It is definitely life-changing, and for full disclosure, you you worked with me at Media Management.
Right.
We worked together, and then
I ended up working for you because you put me on your vision board.
Yep, and then we got Rigo. Idea. Rigo worked over there too,
I know Rigo was on the vision board too, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. No joke. It's like so the same way I put together this Yuma Wu-Tang, like I wanted to put together this crew of this great artists in media management. And it came to be. It was crazy. It really came to be. And I've known Rigo since we were kids, and since McGraw, we went to the same elementary school together. So
that's so cool.
It's really cool. And then Rigo, he's over here recording and doing the video that we'll put out one day, possibly. But
one day.
Well, maybe. And he was doing music videos for a lot of the people in the hip hop community.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like, man, if we get all these people together, we'll have a great unit, of these people that will be able to produce something that doesn't look like it's from Yuma. And that's what we did for media management until, everything blew up. But
well, to be honest, the main reason why, I think the last time you asked me and I said, yeah, because I went on your website and I was like, holy shit, John's media management, John's company is like blowing up. I saw like I saw your team page and I was like, their website's nice. I was like, okay, maybe. Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I saw how much you grew. So, and then I don't know if that was like a good thing or a bad thing, but you grew really fast.
You know, and that I think, and going back to what this podcast is going to be about, that's perfect because I did grow and I was trying to get someplace.
Right.
And I was trying to be successful. I was trying to be something. And that's when I came up with, being something other than myself. Like Johnny Awesome had to be this guy, had to be this type of person. And that actually, so a little bit of background. Before that, I was going to be a Pentecostal preacher, like dead serious. I was going to be a pastor in a Pentecostal church.
What's Pentecostal?
They speak in tongues. If you know anything about speaking in tongues, if you ever heard of that, there's like speaking in tongues. And that's also a little bit of background with Rigo. His family went to the same church. And actually Gabe, who worked with us, who is Rigo's, anyway.
There's a connection.
There's a huge
religious connection.
It's crazy. But I was going to be a preacher. I was groomed to become a preacher for a number of years at this church that's very cultish, kind of.
Yeah.
Because I was a kid kind of coming off the streets on drugs when I got into the church. And it's like there's like a regiment and a program. And then you become a preacher and they send you out. And I ended up getting really disillusioned with that. And falling away from that. And then The Secret led me back into spirituality.
Right.
And which was really great. But it only, I think, let me into one dimension of it because it was, what can I acquire? So whatever I wanted to acquire, I got it because I was like a magician with The Secret. Like I would put something on my vision board and I swear it would come. I mean, who I wanted to meet, what businesses I wanted to work with, like all these different things, where I wanted to travel. We got a client in Vegas, flew us to Vegas, and all these different things. And but I was just eating it all myself. There was no law of I forget the law, but no giving. There was no law of giving. I would never. It would just consume.
It was all ego, me.
It was ego, me. And so that's when my anxiety grew, and got bigger and bigger. And then where I was doing shows in nightclubs. And I was constantly out, and then till my life kind of blew up. I mean, boom, I lost everything. I was homeless. I had a skateboard, and I would sleep on a couch, and I would skate all the way from Okietown, all the way to downtown to where my mentor was, like every day, just to listen to him talk. And I couldn't understand a lot of things he was saying. It was like going to, a Zen monk, and he would say these sayings like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like, I can't relate because I was so in my head.
Right.
And so he's like, just listen, you just need to hear me say these things. Just let me say them. Now I get them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I thank God I kept going. And I kept going. And then about a year and a half ago is when I learned meditation. And like you said, completely changed my life.
Meditation. It does. It changes your life, for sure.
Completely changed my life to where I was, that anxiety's gone. And I think you even mentioned it because you saw how anxious I was.
Oh, yeah. I remember, John. I remember I'd look out the window and you'd be like pacing back and forth and you'd be on the phone. And I'm like, I'd look at Janet and I'd be like, which is, John's wife. I look at Janet and I'm like, wow, he's like out there just hustling. But looking back, that wasn't you hustling. That was you like fucking breaking down.
Destroying myself.
Stress, right?
Yeah. Just stressed out. And anxiety of how am I going to keep all this up and how am I going to keep going. And it was the full weight of my ego because I thought I could do anything and I knew I could do anything. But then to keep it going and keep growing, you feel that weight. That weight is just beating on you,
Yeah.
And it ended up blowing up. But then I remember when I lost everything, at the moment I lost everything, I felt great. It took a while, maybe like a couple weeks after crying and, this and that, then they just kind of like, wow, I don't feel that stress anymore. I don't, that anxiety's gone. Like I don't have those things. I have literally to my name was a skateboard and I slept on my parents' couch, but I felt free. I felt this freedom. It was undescribable. And that's what I ended up building off of. And I learned about more laws than just the law of attraction. And I learned about the Tao, which really helped change my life. I would say, more of a Taoist than anything, which is just a philosophy. It's not a religion, and kind of growing through that. And so this podcast is going to be an outlet for that. And we want to talk to people about where are they trying to go, because that's where I was trying to go at one point.
Right.
I was trying to be this success. I wanted to be this name, you know. I was doing radio at that time. I was doing TV. I was doing a lot of those things. And I thought that's where I wanted to be. But when I got there, I still felt empty.
Right.
It didn't feel that void. It didn't feel that hunger that I had. And now through meditation and just me being me, it's filled, which is weird.
Right. Because it's like nothingness.
Right. And then in nothingness, there's everything.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's why we wanted to start this podcast, and it's Are We Where Yet? So we're going to be interviewing people.
Are we where yet?
Are we where? So where is the there that you're trying to get? So I just want to talk to people that may be still in that struggle of trying to get somewhere, like trying to prove themselves, and there's no judgment on it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, I'm curious, you know, like one of the theirs or one of the wheres I wanted to get today was here to do this podcast. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I just want to know, you know, where is it at that they're trying to get?
Right. Yeah. And I loved your idea.
Oh, you
By
dig
the
it.
way, it was John, the mastermind, for where? Where are you going?
Yeah, well, you know, it was just like you challenged me. You kind of said, well, you were doing videos.
Mm-hmm.
You started these videos. Do you want to tell people where they can see your videos?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I started videos for my Tori Black project. They're called Tori's Thoughts. So it's just me just speaking about random spiritual stuff. I try to keep it spiritual, you know, and once in a while talk about music, I guess. But yeah, you can check me out on YouTube. But I recommend going through Facebook and my website probably. So ToriBLK.com. ToriBLKmusic.com.
Okay.
And then Facebook, the same thing, /ToriBLKmusic.
And they can find your videos.
Yeah, on YouTube. So they'll find it on the website. It's just because my YouTube doesn't have a link yet.
Mm-hmm.
It has random numbers because I need certain subscribers and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so definitely just go on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, so then we started to work together again on projects. I'm starting my company again, and you ended up putting the videos up, and I was just like, oh my God, these are amazing. These are beautiful, and I loved them. And we had met for coffee, and we said, how about be doing a podcast? You're like, I want to do a podcast.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do a freaking podcast. That's why when you brought it up, I was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, you did that. So then I went to work the next day, or a few days after that, and I just drew it all out. And it was almost like, it felt like automatic writing. Like I wasn't me writing these ideas down, and these things just were coming. It was,
Right.
I mean, it was a trip. So I have like pages and pages of notes of guests I want to get on, and this creation that kind of just came through me to develop this. And that name came, Are We Where Yet? Are we where? Like, where are you trying to go? And so we're going to interview a bunch of different people through art and technology, music. I want to eventually get the mayor of our city on, who is a deacon, who actually has helped me through spiritual things, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And, yeah, he's had a lot of good wisdom and advice for me through some rough times. And you have some fitness. You're big into fitness.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring some CrossFitters in and even some spiritual people.
Yeah, so you probably know people at the Spiritual Center, maybe. Darren.
Yeah,
You think he would come on?
Definitely. I think he would. I mean, he has a busy schedule, but we can probably get him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll get a bunch of people on and just find out where they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Which is, I'll just say this real quick. We had an interesting conversation, me and my wife, last night. I said, she wanted to watch some TV, some shows. I said, let's compromise. You watch something I want to watch, and then I'll watch something you want to watch.
Oh.
You know, and I wanted to watch some old 70s video of Alan Watts sitting like Buddhist style, and it's like some cheesy video. I mean, it's horrible.
Right.
Like the camera's constantly going in and out of focus, and you know, Alan Watts is giving a lecture for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's about death.
Did she fall asleep?
No, she actually asked questions.
Oh, okay. I'm like, she probably fell asleep.
She asked questions, and I was like, this is cool. And we just kind of had an idea. Like, she was raised in the church that I became a part of. She was like born in the church. She was like from like day zero. So all she's ever known is this Pentecostal theology of how the world works. And we talked a little about heaven. And to her, heaven is a place over there you go when you die.
Right.
You know, and then to me, heaven's a place here on earth that you go at any time you want to.
Right.
So
right.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in future episodes, and you could tell me what your views are, and we'll kind of develop and dive into those as we talk to our guests and kind of get what their meaning is, their quest, or what drives them.
Right.
Whether it's, CrossFit and you want to be in this competition and you want to compete at an excellent level, which I think is great.
Right. I mean, these athletes are crazy.
I am definitely fit. I'm not one of them. It's going to be interesting interviewing them. I'll kind of let you handle that a little bit more.
I tried to be one of them.
No, you do good.
I tried.
I've seen you with a kettlebell. I think that's what it's called.
Kettlebells and still maces. I kind of got away from CrossFit for a while because I got an injury, but I've been doing kettlebells and still maces and going to the gym still. You can't stop working out.
I have a life coach that we're doing some trade. We did some of the work, and you did some work for him, Joshua Schabach, and he has goals for me. So the first goal is to come into my my true calling. We've established my true calling, which is number one, and he's going to help me develop and grow into that. Calling number two, the second thing is fitness, which is like, oh God,
good.
It's like it's horrible. He's like, so I had a call with him like 2 days ago. He's like, did you go to the gym? And I just kind of hang my head down like, no, I didn't go to the gym.
Do you have a gym membership, John?
I do. And
where at?
Snap Fitness.
Oh, okay.
Well, he owns the gym too.
Oh, yeah,
he's like, get to my gym.
He hooked you up and everything.
So he owns the gym, and he's like, and he knows if I go or not because he gets like the card reader, So he's kind of like, did you go? And I can't lie to him. So I actually I have to go 5 times between the next time we talk, and which is in 2 weeks. So I have to go to the gym. Promised them 5 times. So.
Please do so.
I'm
not saying because you're fat or anything. It's just so you can get healthy and fit. It's good for you.
I need to. And I switched to teas, drinking teas, and we got teas here and instead of
I know,
coffee.
and it's a bomb.
Do you like? I made you a tea. Do you like it? Alma liked it.
Oh yeah, Alma loved it. Our mic checker. She didn't really check the mics, but we'll get her to next time.
Alma's sitting over here. She's doing our logo.
Yep. And she's also my business partner at my thing, Creative too.
Amazing, sweetest girl you've ever met. Sweet, quiet. She was there for our meeting about the podcast, and I remember she got the wrong drink. She got the wrong drink, and then we're kind of like, we'll go exchange it. She's like, no, it's okay.
No, we're lying. And then there's me. I'm like, go exchange the drink now.
And we're kind of like, do you like the drink, Alma? No, it tastes like shit. So then go exchange it.
That's really
I was like, okay, I should. Maybe. Yeah, and she did it, which is great.
That's what she meant to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was
she didn't say that.
It's okay, I guess. I'm like, go exchange it, please.
I just see like she wants to vomit, the whole time, and she's trying to suck this down.
She's like, milk.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get her on one day, which would be great. And
that would be great.
So cool. I think we kind of went a good amount of time, and we'll kind of wrap it up. And I think the first guest will be Alan Pruitt, which is he's into technology and fitness. So we'll be talking about a little bit both. He's working on a project for Google right now, Google's new watch, and he had to inject a microchip into his side, so it's cool.
I thought that was insane. I thought that was like, what do they call it? It's not artificial intelligence. It's
Well, there is a little bit of an artificial intelligence on the other side of it, because this chip talks to a robot, not a robot, but to this artificial intelligence, and this artificial intelligence is going to tell you, like, your blood pressure, you didn't sleep well last night. Maybe you should start the day off by walking a couple miles. So you're actually going to have a artificial intelligence talk to you about your health.
Now, if they do release it, you're not going to, or is it? It's not going to be injectable. It's going to be on the watch?
No, it'll be on the watch.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I want to inject something.
You want to be injected. So maybe he can hook you up with Google.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he can. He got hooked up, and his brother actually does some testing for somebody else. I forget who he told me. His brother actually does testing, and they pay him with these little cool Visa gift cards. Google just sends him all the time to do these tests, and he signs up for it. So we'll talk to Alan Pruitt next time, and got future guests, people, numerology, sacred geometry.
Right.
I'm
excited.
The woman that taught me meditation, Sherry Magdaleno. I know you went to one of her meditation sessions.
She was awesome.
Yeah, she's
cool.
great.
I swear, like when I was done, she was like, "Are you okay?" Like, dang, she's like connecting with me at another level. I was like, she feels my vibrations. I know it, and I just like turned away. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Isn't it weird?
Yep.
That to know that she can feel it. So it's kind of like, yeah, exactly what you. And then we've had I had like a one-on-one session with her, which is a pretty crazy one where you lay down and you do this breathing called pranayama, and in her house, like on a blanket on the floor. So it was pretty intimate, and it was like I was vibrating, and we'll talk about a little bit more about that.
Vibrating.
Oh, it was nuts. I felt like I was going to blast off into the universe. She gives you rocks. You have these two rocks that you hold in your hands, and they're kind of like to keep you grounded. And thank God I had those rocks. Or I mean, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be in like the fifth heaven right now.
Was it creepy, scary, or what?
No, it's the great. So the cool thing about it, it's like, so you're doing this breathing and you're vibrating, right? Mm-hmm. And then she kind of brings you out of it after like so many minutes. And then she's like, okay, now return to normal breathing. And I'm like, okay, it's done. No, that's when it starts. It started at that point. And you start convulsing, and like you just let all this like tension that's been building up, and like sometimes you'll cry. I've done it like 3 times. Sounds like The
Exorcist. Sounds like you're like just twisting your body and like.
Oh, you'll twist, and like you won't even physically twist. Like you won't try to do it. You're not mentally telling yourself to do it. Your body's just like does these convulsions, but you're releasing. Strange. You're releasing these things, and I'm probably not doing a good job of selling her business right now. People are like, I'm never signing up for that. But it was a tremendous release.
No, that stuff works though.
Oh, great!
I've heard stuff like that. I'm surprised it's not like related to Kundalini. It sounds kind of like Kundalini.
She teaches that too. She teaches a lot of stuff. So we'll have her. We'll have my mentor on there, who's currently a pastor of a church, which is like I like to explain to people. It's not really like a church. It's like Xavier from X-Men, and we're like mutants, and he teaches us how to hold our gifts, like our certain talents.
That's cool.
Like if we can create fire, like don't burn the house down with the fire,
That's so cool.
If you can create ice, don't be a cold-hearted bitch, that's like really what I learned at these little sessions. There's like maybe like 15 of us. Rigo knows Chris Tortorici. And we have these just little like intense sessions where he has a drawing board, and he writes the sermon down, and he writes these things that he talks about, and it's like it's just a great time. And it's only like I said, like 15, 20 people, and we don't advertise, there's nothing like that. It's just like it is what it is.
That's so cool.
So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we'll have him on and a few other people, and anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up so people can get to their life. And well, thank you guys for listening. I'm Jonny.
I'm Tori.
And we'll be back next time on Are We Where Yet?